Good afternoon. My name is Melanie Kerber, and I'm the principal at Starr Rocks Middle School in McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania. I'm the principal here at the school, and I've been with the district for about 8 years. Our district has had many challenges, including our demographics. We are 86% free and reduced lunch. Our students come from 4 different housing communities that are funded by the federal government. Our population is about 25% special education students, and also we have about 60% minority students. Across the board, our students come from homes of poverty. Those students come to school at risk. They have a higher incidence of cognitive delay, learning disabilities, acting out behavior in the classroom, fewer exposures to limits within the home. They also have a lot of lapses academically because they have not been exposed to the rich conversation that most preschoolers have been exposed to. We have noticed in the last couple of years, as we've suffered more staff cutbacks, that the level of behavioral issues are rising considerably. In addition to this, we have a number of students who are very transient, which is a common characteristic of people living in poverty at the end of the lease, or when a parent is trying to elude the law, domestic abuse, or any kind of legal implication. They oftentimes will go into another district. So that makes it very difficult for students to have any kind of connection with school. We have an 8th grader this year who is now in her 4th middle school, and it is now March. So we became involved with the Watson Institute when we learned that they were willing to work with us to develop a school-wide positive behavior plan. In the past, we've had a tremendous amount of disciplinary actions, and we really wanted to begin to look at this in a different manner, talking about what the expectations were and also providing incentives for positive behavior rather than consequences for negative behavior. I asked one of our senior faculty members, Sue Catan, to take on this committee, and she put together what's called a NICE committee, Necessary Incentives for a Climate Conducive to Education. And from that, she got together with her staff, and they started talking about what some of the behaviors were that were the most disruptive and how we should begin to look at these. We decided that the school needed to be safe and it needed to be conducive to learning, particularly in unstructured times like the hallways, arrival in the morning, the cafeteria, and at bus duty. And so with that, we set out to make some priorities and also to come up with some sort of an acronym that would be very memorable for students. We arrived at the one for SAIL. Our mascot is a Viking, so we thought that would be appropriate to come in on a Viking ship, like as in sailing. And SAIL stands for safe, accountable, intelligent, and leaders. Yeah. So safe, accountable, intelligent leaders. And we like the metaphor with being a Viking, but we also like the fact that it was very concise and it would give students the opportunity to do this. From there, we have been working with training the NICE committee, and we will eventually, before the year is up, work with training our staff so that they know exactly what the expectations are, and we hope to roll this out in full in the fall. We're very excited about this. This is the first time something like this has been done here, and although it makes perfectly common sense, we are very much in need of places like the Watson Institute and the Heinz Endowment. We simply do not have the staffing or the time or the means here to make that kind of program happen. We really need an outside person who can come in that has the resources to really sit down with our people and help them think this out. So we're very grateful to the Watson Institute and the Heinz Endowment, and we really see this as a very positive program for not only our students, but students around the country and certainly around the area. A student who has disruptive behaviors, as is very characteristic in homes of poverty, is much less likely to do well in school. They're much more likely to have to repeat grades, and that does not bode well for high school graduation. So this has far-reaching academic and economic impacts, because students who do not graduate from high school have very few job opportunities, and they tend to become either very much dependent on federal assistance or become involved in the legal system and incarcerated. So it has far-reaching implications for them being contributing members of society rather than dependent on public support.